So our lesson is when things fall apart, you don't have to. So any one of you who has never had things fall apart, you can leave. Well, I guess all of us have had things fall apart on us. It seems to be part of the human condition. Relationships fall apart, careers fall apart, empires fall apart, countries, even whole civilizations fall apart. In fact, if there is one thing we could say about physical things in this world, it's that someday, sometime, it will fall apart. There's a law of physics which correlates this natural phenomenon. That is, it's the second law of thermodynamics, or the law of entropy. Bodies in motion tend to come to rest. Hot water cools down. Iron in the presence of oxygen rusts. Buildings of wood eventually rot. Even stone mountains get worn down. So no matter how much care is taken, it seems that everything is affected by the passage of time. It changes things, sometimes quickly, sometimes not so quickly. So we could say that one of the features of living on earth is that there's this tendency for things to fall apart in the physical. But in the mental, spiritual world, there is another dimension, the dimension of mind, the dimension of spirit, the dimension of new ideas, fresh imagination, new frontiers of thought and action. So why do things fall apart? Isn't it because of pressure? Pressure applied to them. And by pressure, I mean, for example, rain and sunlight and moss and fungus and all those things put pressure on the wooden siding on my house. Now, I can keep it reasonably clean and painted and water treated, but eventually it will succumb to the elements. Now, I could go on giving thousands of examples in the physical world of things that fall apart and can't take the pressure of the environment. But notice I said physical things, material things, things that can't change what is happening to them, or rather can't change when something happens to them. So efforts to preserve things can only happen so long. However, we mental, spiritual beings, in fact, all living things, have a lot more flexibility in this regard. If we observed the history of life on this planet, we would see that the environment or nature exerted different pressures on living things. Some of these species could not adapt and died out, but some adapted, which is to say, they changed. And you and I are no less subject to this pressure. There's a lot of work being done scientifically which shows that when you put pressure on anything in this universe, things start to fall apart. But underneath the falling apart, there's a new order, a new idea, we might say at work, which means to me, spirit is changing itself into a new order of being. So it isn't that pressure is bad. It's that something new, something better wants to happen. So that's the thrust of evolution, physically, mentally, and spiritually. When something seems to fall apart and get chaotic, it's a signal that something better wants to happen. Well, the old thing was happening. You see, really it's a spiritual thing, for everything is spiritual. As Gwen so lovingly said, there's only one life. There's only one power. There's only one mind. And everything that is it in some form or another. So we can see that some things need to fall apart. Bad relationships, sick ideas, warped points of view, old stale ways of being and doing. So the difference between you and my house siding is simply this. When the sun is out, you can put on a hat or sunglasses or sunscreen and you can move to the shade. The house can't. When it rains, you can carry an umbrella or wear a rain suit or take a rain bath or go inside. The house can't. When the birds come out and sing and perch on my deck, if you don't like it, you can move inside. Of course, if you stay out too long, they might do to you what they do to decks. And look, I am not saying to ignore a broken heart, or to stick your tongue out at job loss, or stick your head in the sand when you feel bad. A lot of people get the wrong idea about our science of mind teaching. They think we advocate ignoring our problems, but nothing could be further from the truth. What we are really saying is face your problems with the idea that there is something within you that can deal with and get past this problem. Millions of years of evolution have placed inside every one of us immune systems and nerve connections and body chemistry and blood resources and brain power that have this incredible wide variety of response possibility to any pressure that seems to pull us apart. And the most important thing is you are connected to an infinite wisdom, an infinite potential and possibility that has within it the answer to every problem. And it has within it the ability to create whatever you can imagine and are willing to do. So we have this incredible conscious part of us that makes us like the creator of it all. You want to call it the Christ, call it the Buddha nature? It's that part of us that knows whatever the pressure, we can adapt. We can change, we can grow, and we can create something better than there was there before. Out of any situation. And the incredible part is that when we simply recognize this part of us that can work through us is working through us, it responds. It responds. See, it's not about ignoring our problems. It's about recognizing we are greater than our problems. We can do something about them. We can alter our approach to them. We can start placing our attention on the solutions. Amen. Thank you, brother. Yes. You know, one time I watched Shakespeare's great tragedy, Hamlet. You ever seen that? It's a tragedy because everyone you want to root for winds up dead. That's the way, it's simply the way the play was written. So the actors portray the emotions, they said the words, they did the deeds they were supposed to do that led to those deaths. The audience felt the emotion, the sorrow, and yet all of us, actors and audience, really knew that it wasn't real. The actors followed the script word for word and action for action. Now, I suspect, deep down inside us all, we suspect or even know when we're following a tragic script. It does not matter so much how we got the script. What matters is that even tragedies are pressures from the universe calling us to write a new script. We never have to do the same script over and over and over again and have everything come out a tragedy. Now, I grant you, tragedies are very interesting. They can capture your attention in a stage play or a movie, but in real life, they aren't much fun. So think of it like this. You are a powerful spiritual being, a being of love and light, a being that is indeed supposed to live a happy, productive, creative, and healthy existence. You were meant to live this way. Say this, I am meant to be happy, healthy, creative, and in love. Yeah, I like that. Get your body and in love. Whatever happened to Barry White? He was one of my favorites. Showing my age again. See, we are not meant to be merely players in a tragedy. No, we are not dropped into a cold, cruel ocean and told, sorry, buddy, there's no way out. Say hi to the sharks. No, we have been equipped, well endowed, capable of handling whatever situation comes up that wants to pull us apart. So think of it that way. We are supposed to be this way. We are supposed to be happy and healthy and creative and in love. When things in your world fall apart, it's like God is telling you, dearly beloved, the way you are believing, the way you are thinking is a script that does not work. The way you are hurting, even is just me, the Lord your God, within you, telling you, indeed, showing you, you can do better. Amen? Yeah. A woman. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people pray or treat for more prosperity and then lose their job. Or treat for a better love life, and then their lover or spouse or partner wants to break up. Whatever it is they treated for, they got a falling apart somewhere in their life. Does that mean I don't believe in treatment works or that it always creates the opposite of what we treat for? No. Treatment works only too well because it works on us. You see, to have what you prayed for meant something in us had to change. The script had to be rewritten. The mold of what was, which did not work, had to be broken. The pressure from God was, okay, you can have what you want, but not the way you've been doing it. One of the most powerful things we can do is realize we are one with God. There is that within us which is incredible, beautiful beyond measure, creative beyond imagining, powerful because it is what you are. You are what it is. There's no separation. And even when your heart is broken and your body aching, and your tears clouding your view, it is still there waiting for you to say simply, I give up trying to do it the old way. Let's try it your way, dear God. So when things fall apart, as they do on this physical plane, whether it's bodies or relationships or whatever, our greatest asset is to realize the spiritual truth. You are not going through anything falling apart alone. You are one with all that is. You are one with God. You are one with the creative force, the source. I'm not saying we ignore our feelings or hurts. To grieve over a loss is normal and required to help us heal. We have to honor our feelings. But I am also saying we should honor the fact that we are something far greater than our feelings, our emotions, our heartaches, our tragedies. Knowing this and practicing this is what will move us past any temporary tragedy, because it's the truth, dear ones. Temporary is the exact right word. Temporary. You know, will you care about it 50 years from now? 100 years from now? I don't think so. Remember the wisest saying, This too shall pass. You got too quiet. I'm scared of you now. I have in my hand a $5 bill. Who would like it? Okay, come on down, Elaine. Come on down. But before I give it to you,
There's always a but.
Notice something. I can crush it. I can rub it on my body parts. I can stamp on it. I can roll it in the dirt. Do you still want it? Sure. Yeah. No matter what has happened to it, no matter how it was crushed, stepped on, or violated, its essence remains the same. Its true value is still intact. Thank you. Its value was never altered by what has happened to it. It can't be. This is the same truth about you and me. Look, it is absolutely okay to feel bad when things fall apart, but it is not okay to stay there. When we stumble, we feel it because we're supposed to. It tells us there's another way, an even better way than you may have thought. You were not created to stay feeling bad, self-pitying, depressed, or hurt for long. It is telling you to do something about this situation. Just remember, you are a child of God. Jesus taught from the Old Testament, "Know ye not you are gods and children of the Most High." That's the essence of who you are and can't ever be destroyed, crushed, or rejected. It's who you really are. So, let me give you a couple of ideas on how to remember who you really are, especially when things seem to fall apart, as they will in this life upon occasion. First, find something to laugh about. Find something to laugh about. Norman Cousins, in his classic Anatomy of an Illness, was diagnosed with a so-called incurable disease that caused him constant pain. But he found a very metaphysical idea which works. He took himself out of the hospital, which he thought was depressing, and put himself in a fancy hotel room, and then he bought in all these old comedy movies, Laurel and Hardy and The Three Stooges and Candid Camera. And he found if he could get himself to laugh for just 3 minutes, he could be pain-free for a half hour or more. Genuine laughter stimulates the body, the organs, the glands. A good belly laugh shakes everything up. I think that's why the Bible says, "A merry heart doeth good like a medicine." Why? Because it makes us realize, if only temporarily, that what we think is so serious isn't serious at all to God. And in fact, it's a joke. A joke helps us to remember who we really are. And this situation that wants to tear us apart is not as big and ugly and terrible as it seems. I came across this story of the famous actress Mary Martin, whom you may not realize. But Mary Martin was once walking down a street in Paris, and she had on this absolutely stunning new designer outfit. And suddenly a flock of birds flew over, and they did what birds do all over Mary's new outfit. And there was a press corps behind her, and she turned to them and she said, "For some people, they sing." So a good laugh can give us a whole new perspective on life and see ourselves as part of a larger picture. It shows us no matter what happens, there is always something we can do about it. We can laugh at it. We can laugh at it. I like this story of these nuns who were three Catholic nuns were at a soccer game in Northern Ireland, during the Troubles there. And they were at this soccer game, and sitting behind them were these three Protestant ruffians. And one of them says, I'm going to go to Bangladesh because I heard there's only 100 Catholics there. Then the second one says, well, I'm going to go to Algeria. I heard there's only 50 Catholics there. And the third one says, well, I'm going to go to Syria because I heard there's only 10 Catholics there. And finally, the nun had enough of it. She turned around and says, why don't you go to hell because there's no Catholics there? So the second idea to help keep us from falling apart is to do something physical. William James, the father of modern psychology, remarked, emotions follow action. Emotions follow action. So don't lay around and brood over some misfortune or setback. Move. Go for a run. Go for a walk. Go dance. Go to work. Exercise creates endorphins, which makes us feel good. It's impossible to feel bad when you are doing something fun and active. So try this the next time. No, let's try it now. Everybody stand up. Just stand up. Come on. What? Change? Yeah. So I want you to do it this way. You raise your hands up in the air as far as you can. See? And just jump up and down like that. Okay? Now, while you do it, put a big smile on your face, okay? And while you're doing it, you say, I am so depressed. I feel so bad. Okay, here, stop. You can't do it because there's not room in your consciousness when your body is doing one thing and you're trying to do another. It's hard to feel bad when you are acting like you feel good. Maybe that's the true spiritual meaning of act as though I am and I will be. Whatever you act like is so will be so. That's the law. That's the law. It's just the way we were made. So we're sending a message when we laugh, dance, sing, move to ourselves. We are saying, yes, this might hurt now, but there's a way to handle it. There's a way to solve it. There's a way to put it all back together in a wholly new way that's healing and completely satisfying. So please realize this. Each one of us is a wonderful child of God, a most loving and wonderful God. That makes each one of us wonderful. Say this, I am a child of a most loving and wonderful God. Meh. I don't believe you. I am a child of a most loving and wonderful God. That makes me absolutely wonderful. And so it is.